Let's go ahead and open up our pavement marking file. So under New Standards, New DG and Creation Files, we'll open up the pavement marking file. And one of the things you'll notice right away is these colors over here on these pavement stripes may not be yellow like they're supposed to be. These are typically set to color 0, so white usually don't get changed. But we're going to recreate each of them anyway. So the first thing we have to do is verify that the proper color table is picked, and you see that it is. And we'll see that our yellow is color 6. And so we want to go ahead and select each of these on the section for the yellow stripes, and we're going to change those colors over to a color 6. So we'll apply that, and you'll see those are changed. And next we're going to select our white stripe entries. So we'll select those, and then we will change the color of those to either something that is completely white, so RGB of 255, which is in this color table is 15. And so we'll set those, and now those are a pure white color. And then you also have this raised reflective pavement marker. You may want that to be a different color. For example, right now it's yellow. Maybe you want that to be orange, and so we can set that. A couple things to point out here. If we look at this elevation, it's minus 0.017. This elevation is minus 0.004, and so there is an elevation difference there. You want to have, like I said, about a minimum of a 0.07 feet difference between your insertion points. And you can set all these to 0 and then set all these to 0.07. That's fine. You can move them using AccuDraw if you want, but these just double check each of these before you proceed, because they may not all be set correctly. Just verify that. So once you have your color set and your elevations corrected or verified, then we're ready to restore the point symbols. So let's open that custom resource file, go to your drop down and go to Manage, and then File Open. And we're going to open up the renamed one entry that we had. So the DOT Civil Imperial 3D Pavement Marking. We'll open that file. And what we're going to do is we're going to recreate these symbols to the proper colors. And so, for example, we can just go down the list if we want to. For example, the 12-inch white solid entry, the 24-inch solid, this is the 24-inch here, this is the 12-inch here. It doesn't really matter which one we start with. I typically just go down the list. And if you click down here, the origin or the vertex or the end, or in the actual line itself. And so this case, it's going to be the line itself is where the symbol is. And so we have to figure out what that symbol is called, because we want to replace that 12-inch symbol. So if I go to select, and I can see that I have a 12-inch white dash 2 feet. 12-inch white dash 2 feet. And I typically do some print screens here so that I can exactly match the spelling. I've got that on my other screen. So you want to cancel here. You don't want to pick this. But what we want to do is we want to prepare to restore that 12-inch white solid, which is here. Now to do that, you need to first define the cell origin that you're going to create. And you want to snap to the end of this tentative location point. Okay, so that's what this line is for. It's at a different, remember, it's at a different elevation. Then you need to put into your selection set what it is you want to put in your cell that you're about to create. Okay, once you have those two set, you'll go to create, and you want to give it the exact same spelling. So 12-inch space white space dash space 2 feet, and then we'll select OK, and then yes to replace, and you'll see how it changed to the color white. Now we're going to do a save, and we're going to do a close, and we're going to do an exit. You technically shouldn't have to do this, the save, close, and exit until you're all done. But this particular dialog does tend to lock up, and when it locks up, you will lose all of your work. And so I like to completely close out after every change and then come back and reopen that resource file at that time. Okay, so let's just pick one more here. I'm not going to record all of these, but let's pick one for yellow, just so that you'll see that. So let's do the 2-foot dash and the 4-foot skip. And so that's going to be this one. This is going to be the 4-inch yellow that is going to be 2 feet long. And so that's this entry right here. And so again, we're going to do our cell origin at the end of the line. We will add this to a selection set. And then we have to figure out what the name of this one is. And so we will go back to select, and we're going to look into the yellow section, 4-inch yellow, 2 feet. All right, so we'll do a screen capture on that. So we'll get our exact spelling. Then we'll cancel. And then you want to make sure that you are picking where this point symbol is used. And so in this case, it's used here and it's used here. If I pick on the gaps, it's not. And so we need to now create, when we have it selected where it's showing that's being chosen, we want to create, and this is going to be a 4-inch yellow, space dash space, 2 foot. We'll say OK, and we will replace, and then you will see that point symbol inside that resource was updated, and so now we have those updated for that particular entry. And notice that the color is set to symbol. You cannot save it in the symbol setting with the defect that I mentioned earlier. So make sure you're using MicroStation 16 or MicroStation 24.2 or later. Again, with those changes done, we will do a save, we will do a close, and we will do an exit, and then proceed with the rest of the changes, and then we will move on to the next category. And lastly, if we want to update the eraser pavement reflector, we can select an entry that has it, and then go down to the point for pavement reflector, just double click it, and then you will see that it is set to a color symbol. And again, we would do the same process. So we'll select the end of our line, tentative. For our origin of our cell, we'll select it, and then we'll select create. And this one is going to be pavement reflector. OK to that, and OK. And you'll see that changes the color, and then we'll save that. We'll close, and then that concludes all of the additions to the pavement marking. And I did pause the video to do the rest of these once I showed a white and a yellow. And so just complete all of those. And then you can also copy these and resize them if you need different combinations of stripes.